That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And with that, we do say welcome in. It's another brand new live edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It is a fantastic Friday, great night for high school football, great day tomorrow for college football. And 97.7 ESPN The Zone will be your home for a long day of college football, a great time of high school football tonight. So make sure you download that app so you can have the power of the station in your palm of your hands. It's that simple. It's that easy. And we will keep you entertained along the way. There is a lot of great stuff going on, especially tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Alabama, Texas A&M. And if you did have the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app last night, you had the Nick Saban Show presented by Alpha, but you also had this.
Go ahead, guys.
Hello, my name is Luke.
My name is Woods.
We have two questions for you. How do you think we're going to beat Texas A&M?
How do you think we can beat Texas A&M?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's
They asked the best question.
if I have to get a short answer, we have to play damn good. Without being specific about details, we have to play damn good.
That was Nick Saban last night on the Nick Saban Show, telling the fans how Alabama's going to have to play to beat Texas A&M. And just so you know, Alabama does lead this series 11-3.
Yeah.
Texas A&M has gotten the best of Alabama 3 times. Bowl, 2 of those 3 times, Alabama was ranked number 1 when Texas A&M beat them.
Yeah, A&M has beaten Alabama twice since they joined the SEC. They beat Alabama in 2012. Alabama went on and won the national championship, and then they beat Alabama last year, and Alabama played for the national championship. So usually if A&M can win the game, Alabama still has a great year, but certainly I think, with the way everything has lined up this season, certainly I think this A&M team is not as good as last year. They're certainly not as good at the quarterback position, and Zach Calzada had his critics, but he certainly played very well against Alabama. And from what I saw of their team a year ago, played the quarterback position much better, even than Max Johnson was playing it before he got injured. And then I think they're young on defense, but talented. Maybe not as connected as they were a year ago because then this is something that that the people haven't been talking about enough. But you lose your defensive coordinator. And I think Mike Elko did a great job. He went to Duke, became head coach, and so sometimes when you lose coordinators, it takes a half a season at least to settle back in. Now their numbers are still good; they're in the top 25 defensively, and certainly, and at times have played very well, and they're capable of keeping them in the game against Alabama, especially if we don't see Bryce Young. And quite frankly, I don't think we will. I know Nick Saban said on his show last night that he's been doing some things in practice. I don't think he's been doing much. And then he said he's got some soreness and they have to decide. I think they're going to hold him out. And if you give Jalen Milroe, and I would imagine he's had nearly 100% of the reps all week long, then you let him play. He's the one that's been prepared to play. And quite frankly, I would like to beat the hell out of Texas A&M with a backup quarterback from Katy, Texas.
Well, Texas A&M, Max Johnson, it was revealed a little bit after our show, does have a broken hand, and we do not expect to see him as well on Saturday. Right. So it's going to be for Texas A&M. It's going to be in Haynes King, we trust, and for Alabama, it's probably going to be Jalen Milroe. Quite a different contrast to what we thought. Well, I shouldn't say not quite a different one. Yeah, Haynes King was the starter going into the season, and had he played well, he would have been the starter anyway going into this game. It's the Alabama side that we didn't expect to see a backup quarterback.
And I had been tipped off that the injury was more severe than people had revealed during the week as far as right after the game to Max Johnson. I had been told that it was likely he was out for the season, that it was a fractured thumb, and at this point it wouldn't heal until after the regular season was over. And so he looks like he's out for the rest of the year. And as you said, Haynes King did start the season, and he started last year before he got injured, and they had to go to Zach Calzada. So we'll see what Haynes King can do. he threw for 300 yards against Sam Houston State, but it was still a deal where it was an ugly offensive game. He did not play very well in their loss to Appalachian. They had trouble getting the ball down the field, and that's been my problem. I think he's a great athlete. He's just not an outstanding passer. And so he kind of struggles with that part of it. That's why we could end up seeing eventually, not to start the game, but A&M might go to Connor Wedgman, who's a 5-star freshman. You hear about the arm talent. It's kind of similar to what I heard about Zach Calzada. Zach Calzada was thought to have a supreme arm, great size, and kind of be the prototypical Jimbo quarterback. And so we'll see. But the mobility of Haynes King will probably help them because their offensive line has also struggled, Scott.
Right,
I mean, they've been struggling a little bit at the O-line spot. And really what it comes down to for Alabama is they've got to contain Devon Achane. I mean, he's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. He's explosive. He's one of the fastest guys in America.
Yeah.
And you also need to kick away from him as far as kickoff returns go, too, because, again, it's one of those things where he'll take the ball out of the end zone.
He's third in the
talented.
SEC with 93.2 rushing yards per game right now.
He's the real deal, man.
Yeah.
He's explosive, and that kickoff return he had against Alabama last year was huge. And if you remember earlier this season, that's the only way A&M scored on Appalachian the second half, was he took a kickoff return back and got them tied back up in the ball game before Appalachian kicked the field goal to take that 17-14 lead. And he wouldn't have been down in two-hand touch. I mean, he was just gone. I mean, he's the guy that can change the game, snapping your fingers. And remember also, their best receiver, Aniyah Smith, is out too. He broke his leg last week, so they're going to have some other guys step up. But it's just right now, I just don't think this A&M team is in the same spot as last year's because they had more guys healthy,
right,
and I think they were more experienced. Now, they still have enough young talent, and certainly Alabama has to play good football. And if Alabama plays clean football, keeps the penalties to a minimum and doesn't turn it over, I think they're going to hammer Texas A&M regardless of the quarterback. Now, if Alabama commits 10 penalties, if Alabama turns it over 2 or 3 times, anything can happen. Or if they if they have gaps in the kicking game like they did last week at Arkansas, that's the biggest reason Arkansas got back in the game is because of kicking game disasters, because they give up an onside kick and then the gaff with the punt snap.
All right, under the Jimbo Fisher era, something to keep in mind when you're watching the game tomorrow, the Texas A&M Aggies under Jimbo Fisher are a perfect 26-0 when scoring first or leading after the first quarter.
Interesting.
Okay?
Did not know that.
They are 28-4 under Jimbo Fisher when they score first. So just something to keep in mind. I mean, I'm sure the Alabama numbers are just as good, but under Jimbo Fisher, we give Jimbo Fisher
so they're
a hard
undefeated
time.
if they lead after the first quarter.
Yes.
And they're 28-4 if they score first.
Yes.
Okay.
Under Jimbo Fisher.
Anvil. That's what I'm hoping for.
All right. Who's it? Johnny?
Johnny on a cell.
Johnny on his cell's with us this morning. Good morning, Johnny.
Morning, Johnny.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, I'm glad you're the first. I'm glad you're the first caller.
No way. There will be snowing in Hades before we let them come in and score first.
Hey, Johnny, you know what's great about this phone call? I'm going to tell you this. I think Scott knows where I'm going here. You know why this is a great first phone call for this? Because my mantra all week has been no mercy, sweep the leg, and your name is Johnny. This is good.
Yeah.
No, no mercy is right. If we can beat Dirt Neck 100-0, we'll beat Dirt Neck 100.
That's what I'm saying. That's perfect. And
They will. They are going. I mean, I would not want to be an A&M quarterback. They will put the cheetah package out there. And A-Chain is their offense, and there's no offense in America that can just run the ball on us. They can't stand up and say, "Hey, we can't throw it, so we're just going to run it." I'm sorry, it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they attack Alabama.
No. I mean, Will Anderson will be knowing what A-Chain had for breakfast.
They're definitely going to be keying on
whatever, whenever you feed the guys for a 7 p.m. game. But,
right.
I mean, there's no look. They're not down in Aggie Land where the crowds go. That stupid little la 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 song they do, and all those dopey little pop guns and cheer yells. That ain't where they're coming. They're coming to the real palace of football. I mean, it's look, 7 o'clock. The place is going to be rocking. They'll have the light show. It'll be fireworks, but it'll be our fireworks, not theirs. There's not 104,000 people cheering for them. Let them try to figure out what it's like to be in a hostile environment. And if there's ever going to be a hostile environment in Tuscaloosa, it's when Dirtneck comes to town after the crap he did this summer.
Yeah, I feel it. As far as rushing defense goes, Alabama has only given up 2.34 yards per rush this season, 87.4 yards per game, and has only allowed 4 rushing touchdowns all season.
It's grown man football on our defense in that front 7. I mean, do we have some growing pains, or have you had some growing? But even our corners are getting better and better. So no. If all you can do is say 18 is our hope and prayer, and I'll say this for our kicker, Reichert has done nothing but hammer the ball back 8 yards deep. So and we don't put scrums usually in our kick coverage. I mean, as a general rule, the better guys go out as gunners and stuff like that. So I just don't think that with Reichert's leg, I don't think he's going to give him a chance to do anything other than hit a knee.
Well, I mean, I do think that it's going to be tough for A&M. I think Haynes King is a little bit limited with his arm. That's why I think we could see the Wedgman, the true freshman. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in and give him a shot if Alabama starts taking control of the game. It'll be the first start, in my opinion, for Jalen Milroe. We'll see what he does with all the reps. I still think with this matchup that Alabama's O-line is better than A&M's. Alabama's D-line is better than A&M's. That's the biggest thing. I think Alabama is the better team along the lines of scrimmage, and that's how you win games. And so I think that they'll wear A&M down. I think A&M can stay in the game early, but I think by middle of the second quarter, Alabama can take control and just systematically beat them down. And honestly, I hope it's a slow bleed.
All right, Johnny. Thanks for the phone call, bud.
I like a 28-0 lead at first quarter, 56 at halftime, 72, and then 100. I will hang 3 digits on their tail.
All right,
thank you, Johnny.
All right, Johnny, thanks for the call. I don't know about 100. All right, Jacob's with us this morning as well. Good morning, Jacob.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
I'm a first-time caller to y'all's show.
Thank you.
I really like y'all guys.
Appreciate it.
My thing is, I know we don't like Dirtneck, but the players, it's not their fault that their coach is a butthole.
That's true.
That is true.
But I'm just going to make it quick. I want it to be a good game. Yes, I would love to see us blow out Dirtneck. That'd be awesome. But other than that, I just hope it's a safe game and nobody else gets hurt during the game, and we get to shove it up his butt.
Well, I mean, I think their defense is good enough to keep them in it, especially without Bryce, because, again, we have to see how Milroe reacts, how he throws the football, because I think they need some balance. But I think as long as they don't turn it over and give ATM, a short field, I think it's going to be tough for them to score. And
the costly penalties that we saw against Texas. The offsides.
I was talking about that. They don't need, and they don't need the senseless personal foul penalties. In other words, just be businesslike. I know Nick Saban talked to Chris Lowe yesterday, and he told Chris Lowe, look, none of our players give a bleep, about the Jimbo Saban thing. He's like, and again, that's it, neither here nor there. It's kind of like what you said. They don't have anything to do with what the coaches say, but I do think some of them were probably motivated by it, because you don't ever like to see your coach run down by somebody. But again, I think that happened several months ago, and I think they're going to be excited to play. I think the biggest thing they're excited about is they lost to them last year, and so it was their own. It was the only regular season loss. So, hey man, it's kind of like what happened to Alabama when they lost to them in 12. They came back the next year in 13, and if people remember, A&M jumped all over Alabama. It was like 14-0. It looked bad. Johnny Boy was throwing stuff up, and Mike Evans was making plays. And then Alabama ran a flea flicker to DeAndre White and kind of got rolling. And then before you knew it, Alabama came back. And then Vinny Sunseri ran a pick back, and Alabama was able to outscore them. But this A&M team is a lot better defensively, but yet they don't have anybody close to Johnny Manziel or Mike Evans, in my opinion, on their offense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. And as long as we don't make mistakes and penalties this time either, maybe we can keep that under control. But other than that, guys, it was nice talking to y'all, and y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Jacob,
sir.
for the phone call. Now, there'll be plenty of talent. There's going to be plenty of talent on this field on Saturday. Now, according to 24/7 Sports, the 22 roster breaks down like this for both Texas A&M and Alabama. Alabama will put 14 5-stars on the field tomorrow. Texas A&M will put 10 on the field. Alabama will put 59 4-stars on the field. Texas A&M will have 46. There'll be 11 3-stars for Alabama, 25 for Texas A&M. So there is plenty of talent on the field. Texas A&M's talent right now coming in a little wounded, a little unproven. Alabama's in certain areas a little bit more proven, a little bit more veteran. But the wide receiver spot on both sides really is still a core that is improving, a core that is still kind of getting used to everybody on the field. Brandon's with us this morning. Good morning, Brandon.
Guys, good morning.
Morning.
I'm headed to Nick at noon today for lunch with my son. I let him lay out of school and brought him over here. And if they ask if you got any questions for Saban, if I can get the microphone, I'm going to ask him, does he promise tomorrow to use every timeout to throw for the end zone on every play? None of this being nice crap, kneeing it down with a minute and a half to go. Hell no. Bring the heavy package in, everything you got to make sure you score every single time, no matter what.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's not his attitude, then I don't know who he is.
Drew, this is one. The players want to win this one because they lost to Texas A&M last year.
Right.
I think the fans want to win this one because of what happened in the offseason.
Both. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's probably half and half. I think it's because of Dirt Neck's mouth, and I think it is because they lost the game last year. I mean, and see, the thing is, if you remember, when Alabama, we always called this the Steven Garcia moment for Zach Calzada thus far. We don't know how the rest of his career is going to work out, but he was a redshirt freshman last year, I believe, when he did this. But the interesting part is Alabama did not play South Carolina for several years after they lost in Columbia because, the way the schedule goes. You didn't get another shot against Steve Spurrier because they just didn't play each other because they played in 2009. Alabama won that game in Tuscaloosa, and they lose in 10. And so I want to say it was almost a decade before they played again. And so they haven't played the Gamecocks for a long time. And so now with A&M, though, it's different. You're in the same division. You play them every year. And then it was heightened. It was already going to be anticipated because of A&M beating them a year ago and because they bought the greatest recruiting class of all time that they'll never develop and win a championship. And then there was media people picking A&M right behind Alabama in the division and even to make the playoff. And so but then it went to another level when Nick Saban called out ATM. And then Dirt Neck did what he did. It just took it to the nth degree. And to be honest with you, you've been with me now for 3 years. I have shown disdain for Jimbo Fisher, but I never ripped him like I have the last few months until he did that. I just was incredulous that he would have the gall to say that about a guy that he wouldn't be making the money he's making without him.
Right.
He owes his career to him. And so you want to react that way and act like a classless turd when all Nick Saban did was tell the truth? I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous. And it's the truth unless you're a propagandist who says there's no proof. I just fell off a turnip truck. OB.
Well, you got A&M fans calling in saying it'd be cheaper to hire Hitman than it would to pay his contract out.
I mean, I heard the Feinbaum call. I mean, that's typical. A lot of their fans are irritated, and they should be. As I said, I quoted it and said they're getting tired of Dirt Neck. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and so
you remember when Zach Mettenberger got sacked so many times that he had to crawl off the field on his hands and knees?
Yeah, I was at that game. I believe that was 2014.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Saturday.
Here's the irony.
Put a wide receiver in the quarterback.
Brandon, here's the irony. Guess who's an analyst for Alabama?
Mettenberger?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't sure if he was still there. I didn't know if he was there this year.
He is.
But I'm at Lake Lurleen Park, and there are 6 guys that went to school here 4 years ago that come over here. And these dudes are tent camping on the ground to go to this game. And I gave them blankets and pillows last night. And I don't know how much liquor they drank to keep them warm last night, as cold as it was. But 2 of them got up and got in the car in the middle of the night. I was talking to them. I don't think they got a lick of sleep. They'll probably sleep all day. But that's what people are doing for this game. They couldn't find a hotel room for less than like $500 a night. So they rented this spot and pitched about 4 tents on it and are just trying to hold on to the game. So that's what people are doing to be at this football game Saturday.
All right, Brandon, thanks for the call, bud.
Nice. Enjoy the game, man.
Enjoy it. All right. Wow. It is a big one. Look, it's a 7 o'clock game.
I'm not sleeping on the ground, bro. I'm not sleeping in the cold.
How far would you go to, as a fan, how far would you go for your college football team to be at a big game? How far would you go if you were a fan?
I'd pay face value and ride with a buddy of mine. That's
you
how
wouldn't
far
pay
I'm
any
going.
more than face value
I'm not
for
paying
any
for
ticket to a
I
game.
can watch it on an HD TV and watch a systematic beatdown if I want to. I mean, I'm blessed. I'm going to be there in press row.
Well, what
and
about
certain people better keep their mouth shut, and that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, what about if it's like Alabama-Auburn redo, like we almost had a few years ago in a playoff, and it's the expanded playoffs. It's at Tuscaloosa. It's the redo Alabama-Auburn. If it's in the playoffs, tickets are ecstatic. Would you pay a certain amount, a high amount, to be at that game?
No.
As a fan?
Not when I can watch it with friends and eat good food and and not
just wondered how far
and
you
my
would go.
pocketbook not be eviscerated.
All right, let's get a break in. Bob Gotze going to join us. Talk high school football when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a couple of new wrecks. These are in Decatur. Mallard, Fox, and Independence may have a minor injury. And we got one on 20 at North Seneca. That's out near Trinity. Had 2 overturned vehicles there. They launched a helicopter, but they've canceled on it now. Parkway northbound at University, that one's apparently no injury. The YMCA's Camp Chalakee at Lake Guntersville is a great place to have retreats and off-site church, corporate, or civic meetings. They can be single or multi-day events. YMCAHuntsville.org. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
When it's time to ride in the great outdoors, you'll find it at Fayetteville Outdoor Sports. Join us this Saturday, October 8th from 9 till 3 for our grand reopening and explore exciting new products from Polaris and Honda, as well as equipment from Bobcat. Discover a great inventory of hunting vehicles, ATVs, motorcycles, and more. Be sure to register for door prizes and don't miss your chance to see the legendary Chuck Berry's motorcycle. That's this Saturday, 9 to 3 at Fayetteville Outdoor Sports on the Huntsville Highway, Fayetteville, Tennessee.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, a proud sponsor of Madison Academy Football. They're going to invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all of those sports-related injuries. Each Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., visit 4715 Whitesburg Drive. It's the SportsMed Saturday Sports Clinic, and they help us each and every week to break down a little Madison Academy football, as they are a proud sponsor of Madison Academy football.
Yes, they are. They are a proud sponsor, and we are always proud each and every week to bring you our conversation. with the fourth-year head football coach of the Madison Academy Mustangs, and that's Coach Bob Godsey. They are coming off of a 56-0 home win over the Asbury Rams, and they travel tonight to the Vinemont Eagles to continue 3A Region 7 action as they try to win a region championship, and they have rebounded strongly from 2 tough opening losses in Week 0 and Week 1 to win 4 in a row, and they've also had their bye week, which they had just about 3 weeks ago, but they have responded well, and it's always our honor to catch up with Coach. Coach, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm great, guys. How about y'all?
We're good.
Doing good, Coach. Another Friday. Can you believe it? I mean, we are over halfway done with this season.
It has, as once you get through those dog days kind of there early on, it seems like it just flies by. So the think that where we are right now, the weather changing and all that, it look back and it seems like yesterday that we were, getting started in August.
Well, Coach, I know, as you said, your father was a longtime coach, and you grew up around it. You grew up in the field house, but it always feels different, and it always feels good when we reach this fall weather, this cooler weather, 70 degrees, and even sometimes 40 degrees at kickoff. But that's when you know the games are going to start mattering the most. And to me, that's for people that understand the game and have a passion for it. This is kind of what you work for.
Well, speaking of my father, back before ryegrass and all that, everybody did their, you wanted to play when the grass was brown.
That's right.
And, so that was kind of a goal, with all the rye and everything that I uses today. We have to know something else. But you're right. There's something special about this time of year. And as you said, everybody's in region runs and chasing championships and just trying to get better.
Well, Coach, and we got to talk about your team, and we got to talk about you've been around this game for so long. Especially everybody up here in North Alabama, they're mourning the loss of Coach Don Creasy.
Yes.
Did you have any? I mean, were you able and fortunate enough to get to know Coach Creasy?
Well, of course, his son Alan and I are really good friends, coached together for several years, and I guess because our backgrounds were so similar, we've always been pretty close, and of course I feel for Alan and his family and Coach Creasy, but played against Coach Creasy's teams as a high school kid, and then obviously as a young coach, he's one that you look up to and trying to draw information from, and as so many of the reports have been said, our profession lost a good one. I mean, a good man first, an excellent football coach, and I think as far as for me and for most people I know, when that day comes when you walk away, you want people to say all the things they say about Coach Creasy because they're all true. I mean, fine, great coach, but even better man, and once again, just my condolences go out to Alan and all of the Creasy family.
Absolutely, Coach. I've been thinking of Coach Alan Creasy and his family all week. I know I never had the honor of meeting Coach Don Creasy, but I know he meant a lot to a lot of people, and I know Alan, his coaching philosophies and the way he set up his program was really identical to what his father did, and it's a great testament to him and a great testament to the influence he had on so many young men, and he turned out a lot of great coaches, and we certainly feel for him. And Coach, I know last week when we spoke with you, you felt really good about your team and the way they had practiced. You'd had a very physical week of practice. They went out and they win 56-0, and really they systematically just dominated early and put this game away. I know sometimes you play opponents where you are that much better than them, but at the same time, it's about how you mentally prepare yourself and go out and perform, and you had to be pleased with the way they played.
Well, I think it's something that we're getting better at. I think our maturity and probably more confidence than anything is our guys. Their challenges come in all different forms and fashions. And, last week, was challenging ourselves, and as you said, just excited about the way our guys have handled last week. And we worked hard to get better. Play a lot of young guys that needed time, on the field, and they got plenty of that. So,
it was a good night for our program, and we hope to continue to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're going to hopefully grow this week. Now, this week, though, Coach, it is a road game. Your next two are on the road, Vinemont and Brindley Mountain. How do you come into this one health-wise? I mean, were you able to kind of get some guys a little bit of rest last week?
Well, for the second time, I think, this year, we'll have everybody on deck tonight. So,
wow.
We've been kind of fought through the injury type thing. So for the most part tonight, we'll have all hands on deck. That's a good thing, especially this time in the season. So we're excited about that. It's been fall break, so that brings in a whole other challenge for us. But I think our guys have done an outstanding job with that. Getting ready to do a little walkthrough this morning. We've practiced in the mornings this week, and our guys have once again showed maturity, working hard, and we've gotten a lot of things accomplished, and looking forward to tonight.
And Coach, I know this has been something that's changed in the last several years. Where when I was in school, we only had a spring break. They've done this fall break now for many years. As a coach, when you started having to deal with it, what kind of tweaks and adjustments have you made to how you approach it? Is it different each and every year, or do you have a way you systematically want to do it now when these guys don't have school and you have to show a little bit more maturity and then kind of do things in it and get out of the routine a little bit for a week?
Well, being that it has been around, we're getting into a more routine. But every sport, basketball has to deal with the Christmas break, baseball with the spring break, now football with the fall break. So every sport deals with that extended time off, and we'll approach it a little bit. Kind of dangle the carrot out there in terms of Thanksgiving week. I want to be playing then, and kind of get in the same routine as we would be that week for the most part, and those type things. But I guess a little bit of both, as you said. Each team is different, so you kind of go with what their strengths are in terms of practice times. But you try to give them some rest time. We chose this time. We come in early and get it done, and give them the rest of the afternoon. To be teenagers and to have some fun, and it's going well.
Yeah, it has. And Coach, I was going to ask you too. I know with this squad, I know you talked about the maturity they've shown, and the one key. I know you've been the head coach at Brooks, been the head coach at Hartselle. You worked with Coach Rivers as well at Decatur. So you guys had bigger squads there. How big is it though? I know that you certainly you win 56-0. The game's well in hand by the second quarter, but I think the biggest key is when you have a smaller roster, you get a chance to develop depth, because many times JV games are hard to come by, and you get more out of maybe playing in a varsity game. Have you been able to start developing some of those younger players and maybe get them needed reps to help your football team later down the road this year?
Yes, that is very important. Other than big scores and things like that, we want to get as many people on the field every Friday night as we can, because you never know when you're going to need them. And I think it's important to build your numbers, as you mentioned, when they know that they're going to play, especially when JV games are hard to come by. So we're going to try to get as many guys out on that field every Friday night as we can, especially the ones that are paying their dues, doing the things they need to I guess earn the right to be out there. There's some hard lessons maybe that are learned there, but you guys have to learn. You have to earn your way. You have to earn your way out there. I think it's such a great life lesson, and it's fun to watch young men kind of figure that out as they grow and mature to being able to earn playing time and earn minutes on the field.
Well, Coach, look at the game plan for tonight. How do you go on the road? Keys to kind of getting that win tonight on the road.
Well, first of all, they play very ball control, offense type thing where they try to keep the ball away from you. So I think having a fast start for us is important. It's important, along with that we dictate, kind of the speed of the game in terms of as they take their time offensively and very methodical with what they're doing. That defensively, when the ball is snapped, that we're playing at a very fast pace. And typically most offenses, if you can hold them to 2 yards of play or 2.5 yards of play, in good shape. These guys, they'll go for it on fourth down and things of that nature. 2 yards, 2.5 yards, they're fine with that. So we got to get some big plays and kind of get them behind the chains, not allow them to keep the ball away from us, and then continue to grow and get better at the kicking game.
No question. And, Coach, I know the kicking game is going to be very important if you want to make a playoff run. But as far as performances or even as a team as a whole, what were you most proud of last week as you saw the way your team handled Asbury and really showed a lot of maturity?
Well, I think just like you said, we came out and had a fast start and just handled their business. And they're very, very proud of it. Basically, we had a completely different kicking game, completely different as we put our young guys in, and the transition of all of that was really smooth. I was really proud of that. And then when we asked our older guys to be ready to maybe go back out for a kicking team or something like that, they were ready and they were prepared for that. So all the transition that went on, just was excited about how our guys handled that.
Well, we are excited about how the Mustangs have played a 4-game winning streak, and you can hear the game at the Vineman Eagles tonight as Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird will be on the call. Please download our app and take advantage of our streaming network to hear Madison Academy Mustang football. We have been the home of the Mustangs for many years now, and we're very proud of that, and throughout Coach Bob Gottes's tenure. Coach, we always appreciate the time. I hope you guys have safe travels and a great game tonight. We look forward to speaking with you next week, and good luck to the Mustangs, and we always appreciate your insight.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
All right, thanks, Coach. As always, that interview brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151, to experience that SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. Let's get that break in. When we come back, wrap up hour one of our Friday show. Phone lines back open to you.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They've cleared that wreck on the Parkway northbound at University. Still working on a couple in Morgan County, though. 20 in North Seneca, that's near Trinity, had 2 overturned vehicles there with injury. And we got injury on Mallard Fox at Independence, still trying to clear it. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials: $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots anytime football is on. And don't forget football trivia every Sunday night at 6. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
You want the right specialist for your recovery. At SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, we understand every body is different. Your muscles and bones are unique, as is your body. Our SportsMed specialists offer innovative treatments and minimally invasive procedures, allowing you to quickly return to the life you love. Locations in Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Improving performance, improving lives.
Take it to the house this football season with the Alabama Manufactured Housing Association. If Alabama or Auburn returns their first received kickoff in the second half or a touchdown at a home SEC game, one lucky fan will win a $75,000 down payment towards the purchase of a manufactured home from an authorized AMHA dealer. Don't miss your chance to take it to the house this season and win a beautiful manufactured home. Register to win today at auburntigers.com/take-it-to-the-house or rolltide.com/take-it-to-the-house. Certain terms and conditions may apply. To learn more, visit alamha.org. Here's something to get your tailgating in gear this football season. Brooks & Collier have the perfect selection of outdoor furniture for your dream backyard and the biggest selection of grills from Big Green Egg, Traeger, Blaze, Memphis, and Montalpi. Football season is grilling season. Lucy and Ivy, they're just waiting on something to fall off the grill. And remember, you could qualify for 12 months deferred interest with Synchrony Bank. Brooks & Collier, 813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we started the show by talking about Texas A&M and Alabama and kind of highlighting that. But Auburn will take on Georgia tomorrow at 2:30 as well. We all feel that this one is an uphill battle for the Tigers. But if you are looking at it and you're thinking, okay, does Auburn stand a chance? How can Auburn do this? It's going to have to be defensively. They're going to have to slow down Georgia. Georgia comes into this ball game third in the league in total offense, third in the league in passing offense in games, averaging 342 yards per contest through the air. Auburn, by the way, Drew, defensively, 34th in the country in passing defense. They only allow 193 yards per game through the air and have only given up through the air 2 passing touchdowns all season. So as much maligned as the offense is for Auburn, the defense is doing a decent job of keeping certain things out of the end zone.
Well, I mean, the bottom line with defense is how many points is the other team scoring. And think about this. They've given up basically 14 points per game the last 2.
Yeah.
They gave up 14 to Mizzou early by the end of the second quarter. And then they gave up – remember, one of the touchdowns LSU got was a fumble return. So they basically gave up 2 touchdowns. Okay? The defense, it hasn't been dominant at times, but it's been good enough to keep them in games. The offense can't score, especially in the second half. They haven't been able to run the ball consistently enough, and even though they made big plays in the passing game, with Robbie Ashford, against LSU, it still hasn't translated to enough points. It's interesting. They gained a lot of yards, but it's hollow unless you cash in the points. And, unfortunately, Anders Carlson hasn't been automatic.
No, and believe it or not,
yeah.
Brian Harsin was asked about that earlier this week, if he's even considered changing kickers to McPherson, the freshman out of Fort Payne.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so. I know Anders is coming back from an ACL, but, I mean, it's just been magnified because Will Reichert missed one last week, okay? He missed like a 53-yarder. It was just wide. It had the length, but he just missed it over at Arkansas. Kickers are going to miss kicks. But really, Auburn's not winning games kicking field goals, man. They got to score touchdowns. That's the biggest thing. And really that's the biggest black mark against Harsin. Because when you think about it, when it's been the offense in the second half, Scott, they have not been able to score, and then they've been really ridiculed because of their lack of adjustments and being able to keep scoring points. And that's been the biggest issue. I think the defense, for the most part, has been good enough, but they just have not been able to move the football consistently and score, and they've been, not good enough up front along the offensive line.
All right, 256-576-4977. If you want to get in on the show this morning, you do have a little bit of time. Auburn, by the way, 75th in the country in red zone offense. They convert 82% of the time, but they only have 2 passing touchdowns on the season in the red zone and 2 rushing touchdowns. Oh, my bad. 3 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns this season. They've been in the red zone 17 times. So they've had to, yes, obviously they've kicked a lot of more field goals in the red zone than they have touchdowns. Speaking of anemic offenses, if you spent any time watching the Thursday night football game on Amazon, that was atrocious.
I did not watch 1 second.
It was atrocious.
There was pregame on at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, our great sponsor, and we want to congratulate Doug Jones of Brownsboro, Alabama, once again for winning the drawing and the lunch for 6 and entering our main drawing. But yeah, I got enough messages and was in some group messages to know that it was atrocious football. And the last I saw it was 9-6, and I don't even know who won.
It was 12-9 in overtime.
Yeah.
And it goes the way of the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh.
And, I mean, look, okay,
yeah,
so
Russ got his $200 million, but he's not delivering right now.
But the thing in this one, national, now not just local, but national media people were poking fun at Iowa because they were like, Kurt Ferentz is enjoying this one at home with the lights on low, a glass of wine, and just smiling because both offenses were so bad in this one that Iowa has become a punchline for bad offensive football, not only in college football, but in the NFL.
Well, we haven't had Wolverine Dan call in and give his Kinnick Stadium
we have
review.
Not. I'm curious to see how.
Because you sent him a food itinerary.
I did. I wanted him to go to a couple
Speaking
places.
of food, I don't our great resourceful office manager / producer / I guess Swiss Army knife extraordinaire Chad Guathney has just put on Facebook. I just saw this. Where are we going with these uniforms? Oregon, the Oregon Ducks are wearing what they call cookies and cream uniforms. This is really starting to bother me.
Well,
okay. I mean, really is. I mean, these jerseys look like they're dirty, man. What are y'all doing? I mean, Ole Miss did something like that with, I guess, what was considered like military or paint or something, or it almost looked like tie-dye or some crazy stuff. I mean, what are you doing, man?
Is this the point where you're thankful Alabama does not use jerseys every
weekend? I'm so thankful. Do not do this. The only thing they ever did that was neat was the houndstooth around the collar. Great.
But see, back in the day, Alabama used to wear white helmets way back in the day, right?
I wouldn't mind that, okay? Right? Now, some people would have a coronary. But
they used to wear white helmets.
Yes, I wouldn't mind the white helmets, okay? I really wouldn't. But I even with the gray bars, I wouldn't mind that. but in the red, of course, numerals. But
right.
This cookies and cream type stuff, or the jerseys look dirty or whatever. What in the hell are you doing? But see, Oregon's always done this because they try to stand out. They've got all these crazy helmets and jerseys, but I'm just
I'm looking at them right now.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Wow.
Man? Like, what is that?
Wow.
I mean, it made me. I know you were talking about the toilet NFL last night, but I was having a hard time focusing because I was looking at this.
I have now pulled it up and looked at it. They look like Dalmatians.
Somebody said duck turds. I don't know what duck turds look like, though, bro.
Duck
or whatever. Duck poop.
He just went duck poop.
Captain Cool went duck poop. I couldn't believe it. We've never talked about duck poop on this show.
I don't think we've ever had a way to bring up duck poop.
But when you talk about dirt neck earlier, why not?
I'm looking at these uniforms, and they are different. I will give them credit to that.
What in the hell is that?
I don't know. I'm really trying to figure this one out. Not how I thought we would end hour number 1. Words I never thought we would say. Or hear you say.
Yeah. I was shocked.
I'm shocked you went with duck poop.
Well, John, Captain Cool, I'm crediting him. He's like, duck poop. I'm like, good Lord. I could have said duck feasties, I guess.
We're going to get a break in.
Ryan Fowler, the one and only, fixing to rejoin the show.
Oh, boy.
And talk about dirt neck.
All right, let's get that hour break in. Hour 2, just around the curve.
Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They've cleared that wreck on the Parkway northbound at University. Still working on a couple in Morgan County, though. 20 in North Seneca, that's near Trinity, had 2 overturned vehicles there with injury. And we got injury on Mallard Fox at Independence, still trying to clear it. Someone dies from heart disease every 36 seconds. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue can help you keep your heart healthy. Captain Nick in the 72 in Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the lower 80s. It'll be a beautiful evening for Friday night football. A mostly clear sky. Temperatures dropping into the upper 40s and lower 50s as we head into the later part of the overnight and then early into your Saturday morning. Plenty of sunshine through Saturday afternoon, but it is actually going to be on the cooler end of the spectrum. Temperatures climbing just into the upper 60s and lower 70s, dropping into the low and mid 40s through the overnight early Sunday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, see, you can watch right there the highlights of the Thursday night game. You missed it last night. Now you can watch it right there. ESPN kindly showing you the highlights of the Broncos-Colts game and just how bad it was.
Was there any highlights?
Well, apparently SportsCenter is making like 4 minutes of highlights out of it, but it's all inept highlights. Be plenty of highlights tomorrow going on inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, your home for Alabama football tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I should say Alabama fans are hoping for plenty of highlights, albeit that in crimson, not whatever maroon, whatever color Texas A&M and Dirt Neck wear, I should say. But yeah, Alabama fans want it as well. They want a highlights. They want. One caller said he wants 100 tomorrow, and he has a plan how they could do it.
And I don't know the guy. I didn't ask him to call in and say that. I'll just to say
he did it on his own.
But his name's Johnny.
Yes,
and that's straight out of Karate Kid.
That's
so that's
your
what I said.
motto for the week: sweep the leg.
No mercy.
All right.
And speaking of no mercy, our next guest is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. He is host of the daily radio program, The Game in Tuscaloosa, from 2 to 6 every Monday through Friday in the City of Champions, and it's Ryan Fowler. And we always like having him back on in his native North Alabama. Ryan, welcome back to Huntsville. You were Drew and Scott. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. 100.
Yeah, 100. Now,
Aggies.
I did bring up duck feces at the end of the first hour, though.
You didn't say duck. You said duck poop.
Oh, I did, but it's the same thing.
Okay.
Fowler, you're a hunter. What is duck poop, man? Is that basically, could that be something we could throw at Dirt Neck?
No, wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Throw shade at him? I don't know.
No, you could. I don't think you could ever get like it balled up enough to like throw it. I mean, it's kind of gooey. Yeah.
That's a little scary.
That got brought into the conversation, just so you know. That got brought into the conversation because we were looking at Oregon's cookies and cream uniforms.
Yeah, they're wearing this weekend
for tomorrow, and he went with duck poop on there.
Well, I was just quoting our good friend Captain Cool John Abraham.
Yes, but anyway, that's where that got brought into the equation.
Scott, I noticed you said Dirt Neck. I
did.
Has Drew? Yeah, you did.
We've had two callers that say
I did, just because it's the week. It's the week of, and I haven't used it all year. I just used it the week of.
Okay. I mean, I just didn't know if he had you. I mean, he's got the entire listeners, callers down here doing it. I mean, they don't even call him Jimbo Fisher. I'm like the very few that calls him Jimbo Fisher on our show. He's got the entire base down here. Like, they even respond to Twitter questions now by saying Dirt Neck. And so yesterday we did an entire segment and a half of what is a dirt neck. And I told them that I would ask you on the air. We had people reading urban dictionaries on the air.
Yeah, we've gone through that.
Okay, you have. So what was y'all's final thing on what actually is a dirt neck? Well, this one guy said a hybrid redneck is one guy. Is I thought the cleanest version that I could use today this morning.
I think that's what we kind of boiled it down to.
Okay.
Just to keep it, so
yeah, right.
I think I basically said it was a mealy-mouthed liar who can't tell the truth and who basically would fail a lie detector test and doesn't show proper respect to those that give him his career on a plate.
Yeah, that's our in-house version.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Drew was trying to find a lie detector and someone he could carry one with to SEC Media Days because he wanted to hook it up at SEC Media Days
and see how many times it buzzed.
Yes, to see how many times it buzzed for Jimbo Fisher.
We needed to have a sponsor to do that.
Well, and I mean, you think about a polygraph, and I do think that you have to have like a licensed polygraph, but
yeah.
It goes back. Listen, man, when you think about it, I've never seen anything that, like for Alabama, people who cover Alabama, they look at it going, listen, there's something that made Nick Saban explode the way that he did. Now, I think the worst mistake Nick Saban did is took it all back because he almost looked like that, oh, you know what, I was that guy. And in fact, it was Jimbo, the one that went careless and irrational and using some of his words, despicable. I think the worst thing Nick Saban did was try to go stood like crawfish.
Yeah.
I think he should have stood out there and just said, hey, that was my opinion. But instead, he took the class approach, and, I guess it's, tomorrow we'll find out. And maybe that's what tomorrow is all about. When you look at Texas A&M and Alabama, and I do think it's personal for Nick Saban. I've covered Nick Saban for 15 years. I know he said everything last night on the Nick Saban show. Monday, you could tell how important this game was. This is a 3-2 football team. This team should be 2-3. He gave us 3 rants in about 14 minutes. Wednesday's press conference, you could barely hear him because he was tapping on the podium so hard. I mean, he's fired up. I mean, and I'm sure his team has fed off that all week. Preparation.
Yeah. And Ryan, as much as Alabama wants this game, they want that revenge factor from last year and everything that happened in the offseason. This Texas A&M team, I mean, this almost does set up similar to last year. Texas A&M comes in feeling wounded from losing to Mississippi State, just like last year. The quarterback that comes in, it's going to be Haynes King more than likely. We have not seen really him play his A-plus game, so to speak, yet this year. We don't know really what he's capable of because he has struggled. But Texas A&M comes in, and we all thought this last year, but they come in, they do have the ability to win this ball game.
I don't think they do.
There we go. Okay. No, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I concur. I don't think they have a chance either. I think they're fixing to get eviscerated.
I don't think they, unless Alabama goes out there and gives them 6 turnovers or 5 turnovers, and you fumble 4 of those inside the 10-yard line. I mean, guys, this offense, and this is what's so bad. If you're an Aggie, and I know we have a lot of people in North Alabama that, especially in your city, there's a lot of different fan bases. But if you're Aggie and you're looking right now at Jimbo Fisher and he's the offensive-minded, and what is it, 105 in total offense, 102 in the country in pass offense, 97th in the country in rushing offense, scoring offense about 103, I think is what it is. That's a concern. Offensively, this is a bad football team. And it really starts with like what Rick Neuheisel said. Rick Neuheisel said it a month before the season ever started. He said, everybody talks about him as being the quarterback whisperer. He said, I don't see it.
I don't completely agree with Coach.
That was Rick Neuheisel. I did not even solicit that. I asked him what he thought about Texas A&M, and he said, I have a lot of questions about the quarterback position, and it really starts with the quarterback whisper that everybody keeps talking about Jimbo Fisher is. And he goes, I just don't see it. And if you look at the quarterback situation, it's not good, and and that can prevent you. That can get you fired. I think it goes back to what Wes and Steve asked a reporter back in June. If if this would put him on the hot seat. Right now, the only thing that's saving him from not being on the hot seat is that win against Alabama last year. If he didn't get that win, how hot is that seat in College Station? That win is the deflector that kept that heat off of that butt for Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, and even though they had to pay him, it's probably also the big momentum they needed to bring in the NIL class that they did in recruiting. But I've got to say this too, Ryan. I haven't had a lot of respect for Jimbo even this week because, of course, he's going to try to deflect and say that he and Nick Saban are fine. But I think, maybe if you want, I've got some swampland in Arizona if you believe that. But I think it's kind of funny how he acted like such a punk this summer, and now he's crawfishing himself. I mean, you think,
we're moving on.
Moving on. He's really good at cutting people off. He certainly did that to me at SEC Media Days, and I wish I had a lie detector attached to his his body so we could tell how many lies he was telling.
Speaking of this right here, all right, so have y'all taken, because today we're going to do on our show this afternoon, we're going to ask the question, how long does the greeting last prior to the game? You know how these coaches
they meet at midfield.
Around?
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, you think it's under 30 seconds, under a minute? Does it even happen?
I think they have probably just a real quick handshake, and that's probably it. I mean, Dirtneck may try to go up there and smile and slap him on the shoulder and everything and try to make everything look good, but come on, man. I mean,
but I don't think you can.
I mean,
I think a minute.
He'll probably have OB behind him with a broom.
Yeah, well, but the thing is like if you score with. If you throw the football with 2 minutes to go and you're already up 21 and you accidentally sometimes score and you feel like you're running up the score, But guys, this guy called a press conference where he called. I mean, he called Nick Saban God. I mean, you ever go back and listen to some of those clips?
Oh yeah, and he called him a narcissist, which means that's what he is.
Yeah,
like a lot of their media.
Yeah, right. I mean, it is. But I don't have a lot of respect for Jimbo. I mean, I don't think we need to cover this. But 2013, I lost a lot of respect for FSU, and I lost a lot of respect for the guy that was in charge of that program.
Yeah.
What they did to that young lady and made her look like she was the...
I think we're going to have to get Ryan back. I think the call just dropped. That's clicked right there. We'll get him back on the Neighbors Wealth Management hotline, but and let him finish his thought. But he's right. I mean, in 2013, Scott, he was referring to the whole Jameis Winston situation, and really that was 2014 as well, when he got suspended and he had the crab leg situation, and that you could tell that the discipline was lacking in the program.
This was the sexual assault allegations.
Yeah, and those. Yeah.
That's what Ryan was. Ryan was referring to the sexual assault allegations.
Yeah. We got Ryan, but you were talking about the Jameis Winston in 13 and 14. It's
just the way that young lady was treated.
Yes.
And listen, if that happened in let's say 2 years ago to now, the climate was different then than what it is now. If it happens now, I don't think Jimbo Fisher gets back into coaching. I think the outcry
is
much
blacklisted
different now.
Oh yeah, because of the social climate.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think it's different, and I think he go back 2013. But the way, listen, you were talking to a guy who pulled for Auburn against Florida State. That's how bad I took it. I thought it was just, using his word, despicable. And they've got audio down here in Tuscaloosa of me screaming War Eagle.
Well, they got audio of me doing the same thing earlier this year for Auburn to beat the Dirtneck, so we're in the same boat.
So Jimbo Fisher didn't start. My dislike of him didn't start in May.
Yes, I completely 110% agree. I didn't like him back when his days with Auburn as OC, and then even as Nick Saban's OC at LSU. I've just never liked the guy. He's always rubbed me the wrong way. But, Ryan, we've kind of buried the lead here because we all have disdain for the head coach. But the biggest headline, and you read Chris Lowe. Chris Lowe is as trusted as anyone in the media. it doesn't sound like to me we're going to see Bryce Young, and we may see a Jalen Milroe's first start at Alabama on Saturday night.
I'm literally as mixed on this. If you ask me in 5 minutes, I may tell you something different than what I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to take a different approach. I think it's Bryce Young.
Really?
And I just think it's Bryce Young. I think Nick Saban gave him an out if he warms up and he's not. Let's say that the pain tolerance is not where it needs to be. The majority of the week, he's taken throughout the practice. It explains, because, see, I kept getting mixed things behind the scenes that he was not throwing. Like Monday, he didn't throw a football. Tuesday, he threw very few. Wednesday, he threw a little bit more, but still. But I kept hearing that he was the quarterback during the good-on-good drill, which is the good on the good, the first string against first string. And then I heard this last night, the same thing. Well, then I read the article, and it just ties it all together. I think it's Bryce Young.
Interesting.
I would be shocked if it's not. Because if Jalen was the quarterback, if he was going to be the quarterback that they were going to roll out there, he would be going up against that number one defense and getting those reps. Instead, it's Bryce Young, and it's not just for, it's the running plays, and they're running the passing plays. They're just not throwing the football, which is really, really weird. So based on that, unless Nick Saban. And I think Nick Saban gave himself an out in the article on ESPN. He said, we'll have to determine after pregame warmups. And listen, he talks about pain tolerance. I'm sure they'll shoot him up with a local, what do you call it? It's not cortisone. Cortisone's a steroid, but
right.
Just a local. Where he won't be able to feel it.
It'll be numb. They're going to numb it.
Yeah, which just will be local. It's not going to be, throughout the body, but it'll be that certain area. And I just think, would I play Jalen Milroe? If you ask me, but I'm not Nick Saban, yeah, I'd play Jalen Milroe and let Bryce Young, because I don't think he needed it in this game. So I would rest and get Bryce some more rest. Mm-hmm. Now, he may do that. What if he opens up in that first drive in the Wildcat and lets Jalen run it, and just see how much success you can really have against this team? And if let's say you drive it down the field and you feel like it, and you feel like that you can get the game. But the other part of this is you're almost, without Bryce playing, you're conceding the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
Because he's already missed 2.5 quarters, right, of stats. Heisman is a stat thing.
Uh-huh. It is.
And so if you miss a game, you're almost – so that may be a Bryce Young decision if, he wants to be one of those guys, because I think he could win back-to-back, but he'll have to play, and really pile up the stats, because he already missed 2.5 quarters and against one of the worst pass defense out there. But Nick Saban has painted himself in a corner that he could go either way. I mean, he's not really painted himself in a corner. He's given himself a lot of options, or he could be playing with Texas A&M's mind.
Very interesting insight from Ryan Fowler. Well, I guess before we let you go, I know that all your great listeners and callers are calling for a beatdown of epic proportions. I've picked 41-13. What say you?
I'm going to go 48-10.
48-10.
48-10. I just think this one gets out of hand. And I think it's one of those that – you remember when the Vanderbilt guy ran his mouth and players were pleading to go one extra rushing yard to get to 500? I think that's what this is. I just think it's – I don't care player-wise. I just don't think we're looking at a very good team. But the optics of getting beat with a backup quarterback is another part that I think would be scary for Jimbo, right? I mean, to go back to Aggie Land and, convince his boosters that, hey, we just went to Tuscaloosa and we got beat by a backup quarterback. And
from Katy, Texas. A wide receiver from Aledo, a running back from Aledo, and then have Jamarian Miller score the final touchdown, and he's from Tyler.
Yeah, so this is either way, man. We're gonna have a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great game, and it's still a hot ticket, regardless if this is a 3-2 team. There's a lot of people that want these tickets, so they're expensive.
Ryan, we had a caller call in already. Brandon, he's at a motorhome park, and there was people that couldn't find a $500 hotel room, so they slept on the ground in tents. Man,
no, I believe it. This town's going to be buzzing this afternoon, and I was at a restaurant yesterday, and Chris Lowe and Josh Pate were already in here early, so that means. There's a lot of reporters in Tuscaloosa that are floating already into Tuscaloosa. This is going to be a great weekend. I appreciate you guys having me on. And just for Drew, Dirtneck, there's nowhere to hide. Tomorrow's your day.
That's right. Sweep the leg, no mercy. Thank you,
Thanks, Ryan. All right, we got to get a break in. We've been picking on Texas A&M so much today.
We got to show some respect.
We do. We're actually going to make a phone call down to that.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck now on 565. This one's eastbound near Oakwood. No injury reported. Got 31 south of West Piney Chapel Road in Morgan County. Minor injury there. Mallard, Fox, and Independence had an injury in Morgan County. And we also had one in Trinity, Highway 20 in North Seneca. That one had 2 overturned vehicles with injury. Popeye's tender, juicy, hand-breaded chicken would be perfect for tailgating. You could score 5 pieces for $6.99 at Popeye's. University in Jordan, 72 in Jeff and North Parkway. Captain Nick in the Popeye's Skywatch Traffic Center.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of all things football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected. One of the best-kept golf secrets in the Tennessee Valley is Cherokee Ridge. Cherokee Ridge truly offers golf at a higher level with immaculate greens set against a spectacular Appalachian backdrop. This 18-hole championship course takes every advantage of rolling hills, whispering woods, lakes, and streams. Interested in becoming a member? Their membership plans feature affordable options for couples, families, and individuals. Book your tee time today, 256-841-4551. Cherokee Ridge. Championship quality, affordable prices.
At Bryant Bank, we believe your goals are worth chasing, and every step along the way is worth celebrating. From your hopes for the future to the challenges that keep you up at night, we're here for you. Bryant bankers put care into action to help you live legendary by stepping up when you need us most and doing what's right even when no one is watching. Come experience a local bank whose people greet you by name and treat you like family. Bryant Bank, member FDIC.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Hey there, folks. Bob Baumhauer here. We're celebrating 40 legendary years here at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. And to kick this off, we're coming in hot with our all-new Alabama Hot Chicken. Fresh southern fried chicken breast smothered in a blend of tangy, immune-boosting herbs and spices with a spicy finish. Served up with a side of homemade smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary southern greens, and garlic bread. And there's plenty more where that came from. Stop in today and celebrate with us. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone indeed. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, we're with you for just a few more minutes, actually until 9, so we got about 30 minutes left of the show. We've been counting down towards tomorrow's primetime game, which you'll be able to hear right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Top-ranked Alabama take it on Texas A&M inside Bryant-Denny Stadium. We've talked about the numbers. We've talked about the fact that Texas A&M, Drew, when they score first under Jimbo Fisher, they have yet to lose. We've talked about when they score or they're leading after the first quarter, they have yet to lose. When they score first, they're nearly unbeatable. I mean, Texas A&M does have a lot of talent. We've talked about how much talent is going to be on the field on Saturday.
Yeah, we have, and they need to start quickly. And, of course, it looks like, there's a chance we definitely are going to see probably Haynes King back in his starting role due to the unfortunate injury of Max Johnson. We just had Ryan Fowler tell us he thinks Bryce Young will start. I have been under the impression that I thought it would be Jalen Milroe, but, Bryce Young may be able to give it a go. And I have heard there's no structural damage to his shoulder. We will see. It's just a sprain, and it's probably going to depend on his pain tolerance and how the rehab has gone this week. But it's a passionate rivalry, no doubt about it, and everybody's been looking toward this game really since last year when A&M pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the college football season and played a great game when won a buzzer beater 41-38 in Kyle Field at College Station, Texas. And we're honored to be joined now for the first time on our show, and certainly we wish him safe travels to our fair state and to the city of Tuscaloosa. He is the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, and I got to give Scott Tyson a shout-out for being able to pull this off and getting him on our show with us. But Andrew Monaco, since 2018, the voice of the Aggies, is now joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Andrew, welcome to Huntsville. Yeah. Welcome to the show with Scott and Drew. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just great, thank you. We made it to Birmingham so far because we leave on Thursday evening, so we are in this fine state.
Nice.
All right. Well.
We wondered if you were leaving today or if you guys had already left.
Jimbo likes to leave on Thursday. So, and my partner Dave Elmendorf, who played at A&M in 9 years with the Rams, we all asked him about the travel. He goes, "I did that every game in the NFL. This is just fine with me." So it's a nice way to do it because student athletes can they study all morning and then the football begins in the afternoon.
Well, obviously, the task at hand is top-ranked Alabama on Saturday. Texas A&M, I mean, we've talked about the comparisons to last year, the fact that A&M comes in off a Mississippi State loss just like last year. The quarterback situation's a little bit different just like last year. And last year they were able to do enough to pull off a win.
Last year they were able, they finally learned how important Monday through Friday is for Saturday performance. Last year, I thought that week of practice was their best week of practice. I thought the leaders led, and you realize that everything that you do during that week led up to Saturday. It was Zach Calzada's best game, and as you guys were saying, playing from ahead is important because it allows Texas A&M to remain balanced. And Jimbo loves to be balanced with his offense, mixing in the run and the pass. When the only time he doesn't like to be balanced, or he's fine with it, is if he can just run the ball. But if you have to pass, not against Alabama, and you guys know, you're not going to succeed a lot against anybody in the SEC. And I was looking back to last year's game, and you think about the guys who scored the touchdowns. Jalen Weidemeyer at tight end, not here. Isaiah Spiller, not here. Devon Achane is still here. And he's the one who had the kickoff return last year, and he's the do-it-all for A&M on this offense as a wide receiver. As a running back that Jimbo will line up as a wide receiver. And defensively, they lost a lot on that defense. I thought some of those key plays last year, the reason why Seth Small gets that field goal was the 3-and-out that defense got. Now, we've got the talent to replace those guys. That experience is what they're still gaining for a lot of these young guys, and they are very, very young. So Alabama has been through this. You look back, Mississippi State had the edge in experience. Arkansas had an edge in experience, even though Texas A&M won. At what point in the year does it start to click? And I thought Jimbo said something interesting on Monday because he was asked about have you had other teams like this at Florida State and Auburn and LSU as coordinators there, and he said, yeah, I have seen this. In my experience, I have seen this. What week does it kick in? Don't know if it's going to be tomorrow, but when it does kick in, I think it's going to be pretty special of the talent that they've recruited here and have on this roster.
And Andrew, some of that talent like Evan Stewart, he's going to have a big night because, unfortunately, we hate to see it, Aniyah Smith is out for the year.
And that's a big one. You talk about versatility, and the thing that I think that is finally here on campus under Jimbo Fisher are those game changers. Devon Achane, a game changer because you could put the ball in his hands, you can hand it off to him, come out of the backfield and hit him, line him up as a wide receiver and as a kickoff return. Same thing with Aniyah. Slot, you go 2 back, there's Aniyah and a punt returner. Well, you don't have that. So Moose Muhammad is taking his spot as a punt returner and in the slot. And you're right about Evan Stewart. And Evan is learning that every catch matters. Catch radius matters. When it's around you, you have to make the catch. And I'll tell you guys a little story that maybe I should or shouldn't. The thing is happening in practice, and Jimbo always says this, you can't run the play just a couple of times and get it right. You've got to get it right every single time. You have young players who say, yeah, but Coach, I made 10 out of 15 catches today. You got to make 15 out of 15 because Jimbo's the big believer in when it comes to the game time, what's the Navy SEAL line? You sink to the level of your preparation, right? When it becomes a habit, then you do it in the game. Then it's second nature and you're not thinking about it. And I think that kind of caught up with this team. But Evan is absolutely dynamic. He has started since day number 1. You can absolutely see how special he can be. But he can only be Evan Stewart. If all these young guys try to be, I've got to do what Aniyah does. Aniyah will be the first one to tell them, no, you be you. You do what you have to do. It's the old Bill Belichick line that I know fans hate to hear, but coaches absolutely preach. Do your job. And that's what A&M was able to do last year. They did their job in that game. And it's good to do it one week, but you have to keep repeating it. I think it's the same thing for players, every single snap.
Well, this week, the quarterback position, it was Haynes King to start the year. Then Max Johnson comes in. Now Max Johnson has that broken hand. Now it looks like it's going to be Haynes King. It's kind of a revolving door there. Haynes King had the job first. What does he have to do on Saturday to get this offense moving?
I have to make sure that I'm going to take this first part off Haynes and then give it back to Haynes. That offensive line has to open up holes. And Devon Achane's been able to run for 100 yards in each of the last 2 weeks. That's important that they come together and then protect and give him time. I don't think he had a ton of time, even in the first couple of games of this season. And then that just takes all the timing off when you do that. But, it's interesting because he's kind of star-crossed. I don't know if that's the correct word. But he wins the job last year and then gets hurt in the second series against Colorado. And then he comes back and he wins the job this year, and then after 2 weeks, it's taken from him. He made his debut at A&M against Alabama late in the game 2 years ago at Bryant-Denny Stadium. He has the years and the experience, but not the game experience for Haynes King. As you guys know, Max Johnson being Brad Johnson's son, I say a quarterback's son and a coach's son are in that quarterback room, and that's Haynes King. And I think the key is they're both prepared to be starters, and if they weren't starters, they're both prepared to be number 2s. And I think that's important. I thought that was something that Zach Calzada had to learn. When you're a 2, you prepare like you're a 1. You have to do that because it's a moment's notice.
Yeah.
We're finding out for Texas A&M. It's been a moment's notice this year just with the quarterbacks, and both have been ready. He's got to be steady, run that offense, accurate with the throws, and he's got some good legs, does Haynes King. So you may see some things featuring him and with the ball and use his legs to his advantage.
Yeah, and Andrew, that's a great point because he does have great mobility. Max Johnson, before getting hurt, was sacked 10 times. The offensive line has struggled. But might we even see Connor Wegman, who's another – I've heard a lot about him just like I did with Zach Calzada. The arm talent's tremendous, but, again, no experience. Zach had a little bit, but by the time he got to the Bama game last year and played an outstanding game, the best game of his career thus far, now being an Auburn Tiger. But could we potentially see the freshman?
You will – if he has to come in, he's coming in. He's the number 2. This isn't like, we're going to put somebody else there. No, and he's been preparing for this. I found it interesting throughout practice that usually the 2 and 3 get to split as many reps as possible. So it's not like one, as you guys all know, ones get the majority of the reps, and then the 2s, and then every once in a while the 3s. No, Connor, even as the 3, has been getting a lot of reps if they have to, and then it accelerates, right? It accelerates. If Haynes goes down, Connor has to come in, but I know Jimbo flat out loves this young man, the Bridgeland, Texas, and when you watch him throw, it's funny. I said the same thing with Zach Calzada. You watch they just throw it differently, but Connor and I don't mean to do this to the young man. It's only style, okay? It's not. I don't want to put this kind of pressure, but it comes from the ear, and my first thought is Dan Marino. The way he throws it, yeah, you know what I mean. Just that style. I would never
the release,
say that's
yeah.
what he's going to be. Yeah, but he's way more mobile than Dan. Very athletic baseball player as well, and has a possibility of playing baseball at A&M. So that all-around athlete, and that's another story for another time. Jimbo really, really enjoys having 2 sport athletes on his team.
This game has been circled for a lot of people for quite some time, for a lot of reasons, a lot off the field and a lot on the field. Despite A&M coming in, off of last week's game and then the Appalachian loss, it still has that big game feel to it.
Yeah, those off-season storylines, right? That really added to it. Yeah, it made it. What's the word there? Spicy. Made it a little spicy there from 2 very good friends. That's what was interesting. Yeah, it has been circled, and you know what? And that's a testament to Alabama, right? Because I don't care what schedule comes out, what school you're at. When Alabama's on your schedule, you absolutely circle that game. And sure, when it comes to the fans, it's really interesting because the 2 coaches downplay it. And when I say downplay, along the lines of, hey, this is just another Saturday in the SEC. Jimbo said this last year. He said, okay, if we beat Alabama and go 11-1, who are we losing to? And fans never think about that, right? What loss becomes acceptable if we beat Alabama? The disappointment last year for A&M was they finished 8-4. That's the reality. They didn't finish that season losing to Ole Miss, at Ole Miss, and then losing, at LSU. To me, it was like unfinished business. This, revenge only takes you so far, right? Revenge, and I'm saying that for Alabama. Revenge, that burns out after like 5 minutes of a game. I get that. It's a matter of doing your job. The thing that I give so much credit to Nick Saban in Alabama is they get everybody's best shot week after week after week after week. Very few other college football teams have to go through that. The expectations are always there, and they get everybody's best shot, and they come through with flying colors. And that's where Jimbo Fisher wants to bring this Texas A&M team. And sometimes it is boring and it's repetitive. Just go out and do what you have to do every single week. No matter the opponent is faceless. Yeah, you scout the opponent. It's all about you, your job, trusting yourself, and trusting your teammates. I know fans don't like to hear that. We want to get into, are Jimbo and Nick going to wrestle at the 50? We want to get into stuff like that. That's not going to happen. That would be great in the WWE world, but right. To me, it's funny. But just the success of really both coaches, I think, is a testament to who they recruit and how they coach. And Jimbo has said this: he doesn't think anybody's done it any better than Nick.
Well, and Andrew, one of the big keys to this game, A&M still is very good defensively. They're in the top 25, I think they're ranked in the top 22 really in the country. They've played well enough defensively each game. I mean, and with A-Chain, they always have a chance in the kicking game. He made a huge play that helped win the game last year. So I know they're going to need a big play in the kicking game. But talk about this defense as well. A lot of young talent. Shamar Stewart, he's done a nice job. LT Overton, still talent on this defense.
Yeah, there really is, and a lot of people. I heard this week. Well, you gave up 42. I was like, yeah. There was a blocked field goal.
Yeah, kicking
there's
game.
An interception return. Right. It's not on that defense. It starts on the back end, if you ask me. I think Damani Richardson coming back and Antonio Johnson, all SEC. Mm-hmm. Isn't it something he did not get all SEC at the end of last season, but he did at the beginning of this season? We thought it was a little bit of a slight, and believe me, the kids are fine. He's an interesting story. East St. Louis kid who wants to get out of there and actually be like that shining beacon for the rest of his community. Outstanding nickel, and you'll see 27 all over the place. Damani Richardson coming back at safety for another season has been huge. They will have Jalen Jones at cornerback. He got dinged against Mississippi State, but he will play. We will not see Andre White Jr. at linebacker. He has been out. But Edgerrin Cooper and Chris Russell has really stepped up. You talked about a couple of guys. I really like this defensive line, and we were all scared because, how are you going to replace Michael Clemens, who's with the Jets, and DeMarvin Leal, who's with the Steelers, and some other really experienced players, Tyree Johnson and Jaden Peavy. But they do it by committee, and I think the Aggies are going to get McKinley Jackson back, one of the defensive tackles. He and Isaiah Rakes. It's funny, I don't say this to their faces because I really don't want to get hit. Defensive tackle is the most unsexy position, right? Fans don't look at DTs at all, right? But they are crucial, right? There's a reason why linebackers are able to make so many tackles, and I think that experience of McKinley and Isaiah are big. And then Walter Nolan is a freshman who's going to get some run. You mentioned Shamar Stewart. You mentioned LT Overton on that outside. You're going to see Fadil Diggs in his second year. What really excites me sometimes, guys, is those guys in their second year, whether they're redshirt freshmen or sophomores, they've had a year under their belt and mostly practice and a couple of snaps, and now they're the go-to guys. I think that's a Fadil Diggs on the end who has been very good this season. That D-line is by committee. You'll see them come in. They'll come in almost as in a wave, and I think it helps them keep them fresh by the fourth quarter, but very talented crew, whoever comes in up front.
Andrew Monaco, the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies, joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Andrew, how tough was that Appalachian State loss for Jimbo Fisher and company?
It was difficult the first time. It had to be even more difficult the second time going through the film. It was one of those bucket list things for me to go into his office and he's drawing plays. I've always said I'd love to see him draw plays on a napkin somewhere when an idea comes. Yeah. But he's drawing the Appalachian State defense and the Texas A&M offense, and there were 5 plays that could have been touchdowns. So when he talks about leaving yards on the field, leaving points on the field, it was interesting to see that. And it illustrated the point that he talks about. You have to have 11 guys playing in concert, not 10, because you hear it in baseball a lot. The ball will find you. Well, in football, it's going to find you. So to not find a way to win that game, and you would love to be able to say, man, that was an ugly win, because the most important word in that statement is win. But they could not find a way to do that. Did it help in some way? I don't know. I think it allowed some leadership to set, or some student athletes to say, look, now we have to lead. Well, I wanted to be a leader, now I have to be a leader. And I think they did. And then when that leadership council that this team had to suspend 4 freshmen who missed curfew for the game, not for a half, they did it the entire game. I thought that was a little growing up moment. I don't know how many points that translates to, but I think when you have that leadership have to assume that, it hurts. It hurt, and it should hurt. You've talked all off season about what you're going to do in this upcoming season, and then in week number 2, you see that go by the boards. It better hurt. If it doesn't hurt, then you've got the wrong guys. But it did, and then I love something that Jimbo said. He said, you've got a great opportunity. Saturday, you play the number 13 team in the country. You get to change the narrative. I thought it was a great line, and I think it was, again, that reminder of this is about you and you doing your job and not necessarily about the opponent. But they were able to do that, change that narrative. I wish they hadn't have to do that, but you know what? That's sports, right? You have to be able to do stuff like that.
Well, Andrew, we hope you have safe travels the rest of the way to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
And you and Dave have a great call. And we know it's going to be a hyped atmosphere tomorrow night in Tuscaloosa. We look forward to the football game. And I know it's a very busy time for you, and we appreciate your time. We hope we can talk some Aggie football with you again down the road.
Maybe some basketball, too.
Yeah. But I'm a huge basketball fan for the Aggies, man. I love what their program's about. I love the culture there, and being around that program a little bit, covering them when they've played Alabama. We'd love to talk some hoops with you.
If we're going to talk Buzz Williams, I'll talk anytime you want.
Yeah, Buzz Williams is a great man. Great man.
All right, Andrew.
Hey, absolutely enjoyed this. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Andrew. Andrew Monaco there, the voice of the
The
Texas A&M
antithesis of Jimbo Dirtneck Fisher, okay? And that's Buzz Williams. That guy is a salt-of-the-earth dude. Like, when you talk to him in a press conference, he'll sit there and go on soliloquies about dudes that have influenced his career. I mean, it's just must-hear stuff.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk.
Buzz
A&M.
Williams is a dude, man.
We'll get some A&M. Now that we've got the man that's there courtside with him, we'll get him on. All right, let's get our final break in when we come back with tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com. Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that His mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Kerry Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back, Talking Ball. Now, tomorrow, Alabama is a 24-point favorite over Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. Do you know the only other 20-point-plus favorite to beat Nick Saban at Alabama? It's only happened one time.
Louisiana
20-point you bet.
I was there.
Yep. South Carolina, when Stephen Garcia had his moment, South Carolina was not a 20-point favorite in that game. Or Alabama was not a 20-point favorite, I should say, in that game. Yes, Louisiana Monroe is the only 20-point favorite to beat Alabama-led Nick Saban team.
That was year one. I was in the stands. Jimmy Johns fumbled. DJ Hall got suspended for a half. There was a lot of turds on that football team.
You are just all about that today, are you not?
The duck poop got me off, man, at the end of the hour. I don't know.
Anyway.
Captain Cool with the duck poop.
All right, so your tomorrow's headlines. Okay, so winners and losers on Monday when we're talking good, the bad, the ugly. Tennessee and LSU. Who takes that one?
I know
Vince Ferrara says LSU.
I'm going to take Tennessee 34-31.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think LSU pulls it out at home.
So you think they're going to pull it out?
I think they do. I slowly leaning that way.
I just thought the most insightful part of our show was Ryan Fowler with his tidbit about Bryce Young. If he's right, it may even get uglier if Bryce feels good enough to play. I said 41-13. I might change it to 56-13.
Mississippi State, 23rd ranked Mississippi State, Arkansas. I
just think Arkansas is beat up from Alabama. This is bad timing for this.
Sam Pittman does not know if KJ Jefferson
will
play
he got
in
smashed
this one.
by my man Otis.
Yeah,
and these Hogs fans are all mad because Alabama put out a poster with the score on it, and it said "When pigs fly," and it's showing my man Otis running back, with his finger up. And you see KJ Jefferson crushed in the background, lying on the ground, and they're trying to Joe Biden it.
Mississippi State win this one. Do they go 2-1 in SEC play?
I got to go State at home, man.
Think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Billy Napier, Florida Gators play host to Missouri. Gators 11-point favorite in that one.
I think the Gators cover as long as Anthony Richardson doesn't throw 2 or 3 interceptions.
Second-ranked Georgia at home against Auburn. Georgia's still 29.5 point.
34 to 10.
Yeah,
I don't think that Georgia covers, but I think they win it big, I just think 29's a lot.
Justin Hokanson, new article
I
on
just saw
Sports,
that. Yep.
has that he has a feeling now that Brian Harsin will finish the season as head coach, not come back next year, but will finish the season regardless of the outcome. So that's something new to think about there for Auburn.
Well, and I would think they would get that AD in place too.
Yes, that's a huge thing. If you get rid of Brian Harsin now, you don't have an AD, you don't have anything. You might as well just let him finish the season out, get an AD, and start fresh. 13th ranked Kentucky at home against South Carolina tomorrow. Wildcats 6.5-point favorite.
I got to go with Kentucky.
Yeah.
Hopefully Levis will throw it to the right team and not fumble. And if he doesn't make mistakes, and I still think it's the second full game back for Rodriguez, I got to believe Kentucky wins this game by 2 touchdowns.
If South Carolina loses this one, they are winless in SEC play, 0-3 if they fall.
Spencer Rattler, the most overrated player in America.
I mean, we're seeing it.
High school football tonight, the Woody Anderson Ford North Alabama High School Football Scoreboard Show.
Yes, we got that on the Blitz Sports Radio starting at 8:30. You got Randolph. Who you guys playing again? I've said this.
The Randolph Raiders will host the DAR Patriots.
Okay,
tonight.
there you go. And Vinemont is Madison Academy tonight.
Hosting Madison Academy.
Yep. All right, so there you go.
Congrats to the Buckhorn Bucks. Big win last night.
Tomorrow 11 a.m. we will have Tennessee and LSU. That game will be right here over our airwaves on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, 11 a.m.
Can Tennessee be undefeated and get to Alabama and make it Armageddon and Neyland so Alabama can burn it to the ground?
All right, guys, we'll be back at it Monday morning. Don't forget, a lot of football tonight, a lot of football tomorrow. Download the app today.
When it's time to ride in the great outdoors,